What up, B Squad? It is your boy JB, and we are here, you guys, with the season premiere of Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, you guys. We are back for season 2 of Raise. Did I say season 3? Season 2, you guys, sorry. Season 2 of Raising Kanan. If I said season, oh no, I said season premiere. We're back for the season premiere of Raising Kanan. This is season 2, episode 1, you guys. The episode is titled The More Things Change. All right, you guys. So I was originally thinking that the show was coming back next Sunday and not this Sunday, but it's back, and I'm excited to see this show. You guys know how I felt about season 1, and I love the fuck out of Raquel, even though I thought she was fucked up for what happened in the season finale. But yeah, you guys, let's go ahead and get into this. If you guys are watching this video or any other on the channel and you guys aren't subscribed to the channel, then I need you guys to do me a solid favor and stop taking me out on this date and having me pay for it at the end of it. You guys know you can do me that favor by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, turning on your post notifications, and also by sharing the video. And you guys, with that out the way, without further ado, let us discuss Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, shall we? All right, you guys, so I'm going to start up, and we're going to talk about Jessica and Fame and get them out the way, because you guys know I don't see it for Jessica, I don't see it for Fame. So Jessica, you guys remember, Fame is doing music, right? So Jessica is talking to Lou. You guys also remember Lou started up his record label last season. So Jessica is talking to Lou about getting Fame some beats so that way he can start back writing the music. And, you know, Lou is the opposite. He was like, you know, most artists, they can freestyle, they can write songs without a beat. So get him to do that, and then we can do this, because they put out some music for Fame, but the streets ain't feeling it as much as they was feeling that first song that they put out last season. So he also tells her that, you know, Fame has been smoking weed lately and he ain't doing nothing, so he needs to get on his stuff. And he tells her that, you know, she needs to take some time off of being Fame's manager and actually be his girlfriend. So he also told her, like, if Fame don't give a fuck about his career, why do you expect for me to? And exactly, if Fame don't care about his career, how can you ask me to care about something that somebody else don't give a shit about? So he left from Jessica. Then he pulled up to the stoplight, and there was this girl in the car, and she has a song playing that she's singing on. So he's like trying to get her attention. Hey, hey, hey. So she didn't hear him. So she went through the light. He drove in behind her and cut her off. And he said, that's my song that you, he said, who's that singing on that song? She said, that's me. He said, that's my beat that you singing on top of. She says, so what? Sue me. So then he gives her a card and he tells her he wants to sign her. So then we see Fame. So him and Jessica are talking, and Jessica is running off a list of things that she has currently done for Fame, right? And she tells him, like, you need to lay off the weed and write some music. And he tells her, shit, I thought with Lou giving you some dick that would help me with my career. I was like, well, damn. So you were trying to pimp out your sister for some beats and shit. I was like, damn, ain't that fucked up? Because he told her she could never get a real job being a manager. I was like, well, damn. Tell her how you really feel. So then we see Jessica. So Jessica and Fame, they're in the studio with Lou, and she is, you know, talking to Lou once again about getting Fame into the studio. And Lou was like, you know, you got to know when to cut your losses. And he's like, cut your losses? Well, shit, if y'all ain't making no money, that's a loss. So then, you know, what else happened? You got to cut your losses. And then he introduced them to his new artist. Her name is Zisa. Zisa is a young lady that he met at the traffic light, right? So we also find out that Jessica is having sex with the guy that works with him in the studio, right? So he told her that he got her a deal in LA where she'll be a junior level manager and she'll be working with the younger talent. So she got to get her ass up and get out there to LA. I was like, well, damn, Jessica. But you know what? That's not surprising, because Jessica is the type of person that will fuck her way to the top. No shade to her. I ain't got no issues with it. But I mean, we saw how she was last season. So I can't say I'm too surprised to see that happening this season. But hey, it is what it is, you guys. So yeah, let's pause here, you guys, and let's move. All right, you guys. So I want to briefly touch on Unique. So we didn't have a lot of scenes with Unique in this episode, but you guys remember in the end of last season, remember when Kanan went and shot Detective Howard, right? He had on Unique's jacket, so that was the only thing that they had technically tying Unique to the shooting of Detective Howard, right? But we all know that technically we all know that was Kanan who shot him. It wasn't Unique, but the cops didn't know that, right? You guys remember Howard's his partner. She's gonna work my nerves again this season like she did last season, right? So we find out through her earlier in the episode that they had, Unique actually had an alibi for the night that Howard got shot. So Unique is going to be getting out of jail pretty soon, right? So then we see Unique. He is still in jail. One of the CEOs is like, I heard that you're getting out of here pretty soon, but you might not have done that. But I know you've done some other terrible things in your past, which we know he has, right? So then we see this other scene where Unique is getting ready to go back to his cell, and it was these white guys that was trying to make another man they bitch, because this one guy said, "You're gonna be sucking all our dicks today." I was like, ugh. So y'all gonna force a man to suck your dick? Ew. Okay. You can't even. It's no asking the man, "Do you want to suck our dick?" You just gonna make him. You just gonna shove your dick in his. Okay. Okay. So the one guy bumped into Unique, and Unique was like, "Hey, watch where you're going." And the man called Unique a coon. Baby, after he called Unique a coon, Unique commenced to whooping all of their asses. I mean, he beat all of them up. But then the guards came in and he took Unique, right? And the guy that wasn't gonna be everybody's bitch, he defended Unique and saying, they tried to jump him. So then we do see Unique as he got out of jail, and when he walked out of the jail, now you guys can correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong, but was that Lou that was sitting in his car as Unique got out of jail? Let me know in the comment section and we'll discuss it going forward. But that's it with Unique. Let's pause here and let's go ahead and move forward, you guys. So let's go ahead and talk about. So the next things are going to deal with Marvin, Lou, Rock, Kanan, and Jukebox, right? But I'm gonna split them up into different. I'm gonna split them up. So I'm gonna talk about what happened at the beginning of the episode. I'm gonna talk about Rock, Kanan, and Howard all together, and then I'll wrap up the episode by talking about Rock, Marvin, Lou, talk about the whole family. That's how we'll wrap it up. So Kanan. Now this episode opens up and we see Kanan. So Kanan is out there in Virginia. So you guys remember at the end of season 1, after he shot Howard, remember, Rock had Symphony pick Kanan up and take him somewhere. So he went to Virginia and he's been staying with someone he calls Aunt Deb, right? So Rock went to the beach and she told Kanan, like, it's time for us to go home. So Kanan, we see him and he's packing up his stuff, and I'm guessing his cousins, one of them is asking, is he coming back? One says, nah, he going back to New York. Hell, when I get the opportunity to leave here, I'm never coming back. And then Kanan says, I might come back, he might. So then we see Aunt Deb and she's talking to Rock, right? And she's telling Rock, like, hey, I can get Kanan into the high school here. And Rock was like, no, wherever I'm at, he's going to be there with me, right? And Kanan then comes in. So, Aunt Deb tells Kanan, like, you can come back whenever you want to. The door's always open. And it's also open for you, and it's also open for Jukebox. So both of you guys are more than welcome to come and stay with me. So let's move over to the Detective Howard, you guys. So Detective Howard, he's been in a hospital for the last 3 months after he got shot. Now, what I am questioning when it comes to Howard, because they're saying that Howard has memory loss. So Howard technically doesn't remember what happened when he got shot by Kanan. But I feel like this is, like, I'm wondering if he actually has memory loss or if he is, because you guys remember, he found out last season, at the end of the season, that Kanan was his son. And you guys remember he was trying to protect Kanan. So I'm wondering if this is another attempt of his to protect Kanan. I don't know. You guys can let me know what you think. I don't believe he has memory loss, but he might. So He's been, like I said, he's been discharged after 3 months. Now, and here's the thing that's kind of why I say I don't know if he necessarily has memory loss, because he remembers that when he came into the hospital, he had a ring on his finger and he wants his ring back. So Burke, his partner, she's there. Burke is talking to the doctor. Burke also doesn't believe that Howard 100% has memory loss, but the doctor's like, the human body is a tricky thing. So it's very possible that he has memory loss, right? And then also, you guys remember, Burke had cancer. Burke was on, not Burke, but Howard was on death's door, right? Remember, Howard needed a bone marrow transplant. That's why him and Rock got into it, because remember, he was going to tell Kanan that he was his father because he needed that bone marrow transplant, right? But while he was in a hospital over these 3 months, there was a cop that, showed up to be a match for him, and he actually got the bone marrow transplant, and he's been in remission for the last 3 months. So, okay. Rock, you did all that shit. I mean, I love my girl Raquel. I love my girl Rock, but damn, bitch, you did all of this stuff. Howard is still alive. Ugh. And you still ain't told Kanan that DEFCON ain't his daddy because DEFCON was gay. Now I get protecting DEFCON, right? I get that. So Kanan and Rock, they're on their way home, right? And she's telling Kanan that, when it comes to Howard, Howard ain't got no memory, so he has a bit of amnesia, so he doesn't remember what happened. So Kanan is worried about the fact that what if he sees me, and what if that triggers his memory? She says, well, it's been so long that no one's gonna, necessarily, that ship has sailed, so who's gonna listen to it? Who's gonna believe it? Rock, you do know that he has amnesia. The man never lied. The man has amnesia. The man is saying he doesn't remember things. That doesn't mean that's. When Rock said that the ship has sailed, I'm like, Rock, that ship really hasn't sailed, sis. It ain't sailed. The man has amnesia. If a person has amnesia and their memory starts coming to them, people are going to believe them. It's not like the man said that he saw Unique shoot him and then he had memory loss, and then they come back and say, oh, I remember who actually shot me. It was Kanan Stark. Not the same thing. It wouldn't even be different, because I'm about to say that's double jeopardy, but it wouldn't even be different if they had charged, actually they had charged him with it, but then they realized he had an alibi. So yeah, Rock, that ship ain't sailed, baby. Love you down, sis, but that ship ain't sailed. Just letting you know that right now. So we see Howard, he makes it home, and Burke is gonna work my nerves again this season. So she found the file with Kanan's name on it, and Howard told her, like, hey, with him having a new lease on life, he wants to be a better version of himself than he was before, right? He tells her, he doesn't remember what happened or who shot him. He never said that Unique was the one that shot him, because that's when she told him about Unique having an alibi and the fact that he's going to get out of jail. He says, but I never said that he did shoot me. So then we see Rock and Kanan. So they're getting ready to head over to the projects where they've been dealing the drugs, right? So she spots Worrell on the corner, and they got hemmed up by the cops, and they getting arrested, right? So she shows Kanan that, she got people on the building that's doing the outlook, so that way the cops are never on top of them. They're on top of the cops, right? So then they go inside the projects, and there are people standing by the elevator, mind you, right? So Rock and Kanan get in front of those people and push the button for the elevator, and they hop on. And Kanan was like, why didn't anybody else get on? She's like, you would have to ask them. So they go up to the floor where they had been, where they had operations set up last season, right? So Rock has really done a 180. She's done a complete, well, no, it's a 180. She's completely redone the setup. So instead of them actually being on the corners, right? They're not on the corners, baby. They are in the hallways dealing the drugs upstairs and downstairs. I was like, oh my God, that's actually quite smart. The police wouldn't think anything of that, because it wouldn't look, because they, I mean, unless they just want to say, let's come in here and let's just go look at these people's apartment, they would have no reason to know. I was like, that's actually very smart. Very, very smart. So then we see Howard. So Howard made his way down to the, he was actually making his way outside to go to the trash can, but then he noticed the file on Kanan, and then we see him. He went down to the station, so he spotted that they had arrested Scrap. I'll talk about that in a minute. And then he found out that Burke, she's looking to his shooting, and Howard tells her he can't have her fucking shit up. She gonna fuck a lot of shit up. So then we see Rock. So Rock, remember, Symphony took Kanan to Virginia, so she's thanking him for that. And Symphony, once again, you guys know how Rock is. She don't want nobody to tell her anything about Kanan. But Symphony is trying to tell her, like, hey, when I took Kanan to Virginia, he seemed quite scared. And in that moment, she actually listened to him, right? So then we see her later in the episode, at the end of the episode, she went into Kanan's room, and she's just asking Kanan, like, how you feel, like, you can tell me the truth. And he tells her, he feels like he might not be cut out for this life, despite the fact that he is Raquel's son and Defcon's son. And he says that after the shooting, he says he has a lot of nightmares about what happened, right? So that's that. Let's pause here, you guys, and let's wrap up the episode. All right, you guys, so let's talk about, so first off, we're going to talk about Jukebox. So you guys remember last season, her girlfriend, Nicole, she died of an overdose, right? So we see Juke as she is at her grave, and she left the cassette tape there, right? So then after that, we saw Marvin. You guys remember, Marvin had his issues last season with Tony, turning into a rat, and his lawyer is telling him that Tony has skipped town, so they don't have a case against him, right? But he does have to do community service or anger management. He's like, why do I have to do community service or anger management when you said that they don't have a case against me? He says that's for the possession. He's like, it was reefer. So he chose anger management, right? So the lawyer was like, all you have to do is just go in and sign in, and you just leave. So then we see Jukebox. So Jukebox is in her room. She was getting some clothes, and then she found a box. And so she was looking through the shoebox, and there's some pictures in there. And it was she flipped over this one picture, and it said Kenya and what is her name? What is Jukebox's actual real name? I forget what Juke's real name is. But whatever Juke's real name is, it's on that. So I'm assuming Kenya is Jukebox's mother, because it's a baby and her mother. But I'm assuming that's Jukebox and her mom when she was a baby, right? So then we see Scrap and Marvin. So Scrap and Marvin, they are given, Rock the rundown. So they're on track to make $750,000. I'm like, God damn. Am I in the wrong? Like, sometimes when I be watching these shows, I'm like, damn. That game, the drug game is very lucrative, right? But then when you think about it, it might be lucrative, but you got to live in fear. You got to not live in fear. You got to deal with your competition. You got to deal with your connects. You got to deal with the cops. It's a lifestyle that, I wouldn't want. It might be quick and easy money, but it's so many risks that come with that profession. It wouldn't be for me. It wouldn't be for me. So Scrap is telling Rock how the neighbors are starting to beef. They saying the hallway smells like piss. They are too loud, and it's too many people in the hallway. So Rock says, okay, what I need for you guys to do is we're going to mop the hallways twice a day. We're going to get some air freshener in that bitch and spray it so that way it smells good. We're going to pay them a little bit extra money. And if some of them need their prescription filled, get some of our guys to go fill their prescriptions for them. So despite the fact that Rock is bringing the drugs into the neighborhood, she's actually trying to be, kind of helpful to the people, right? Okay, so Rock also tells him that she wants to expand the business, right? So there's another project that she wants to go into, and she wants to expand there, right? So she talks about the fact that Worrell and his guys got picked up by the cops, and Scrap like, we gonna take them niggas out. And she was like, no, Scrap, that's not what we gonna do. I want y'all to bring Warwell to me so that I can have a conversation with him. Then she told Scrap, I need you to stop with the, the rolling of the dice. So Scrap has a gambling issue, right? So then we see Kanan. So Kanan went to talk to Jukebox, and, she asked him how was it being away. He says, it was cool, but it gave him some time to think. He says, he wonders if this is enough. He also wonders if basically this is all it is, and he don't know if he's cut out for this. He tells her that Aunt Deb said, Aunt Deb and their cousins were asking about her, and they said, hey, you can come anytime. So then we see as the family, they're getting ready for dinner, right? They're having family dinner, and everyone is there. So Jukebox comes downstairs, and Marvin tries to speak to her. He says, I ain't really saw you in 3 months. She said, you saw me at Grandma's barbecue. He says, oh yeah, I did see you, but we didn't really talk. So they ain't talked in the 3 months since he fought her ass when he called her a girl F word. So they sitting at the table, they're having dinner. Marvin was trying to make small talk with her. He asked her, what is she taking in school? She's like, school hasn't even started. He was like, well, when it does start, what do you plan on taking? She says, thank you for the dinner, Aunt Raquel. Bye. So then, excuse me, y'all. So Rock, at one point in this episode, when Scrap and Marvin were talking to her, Lou showed up late. She ain't feeling the fact that Lou shows up late, right? So Lou tells her, I'm going to do better. This label thing is more work than he thought it would be. So she asks him, so how much money you been bringing in from that label? He tells her, it's a new business. She says, nah, it's a hobby. So you ditching our business for a hobby. So then we see Kanan once again. He's talking to Jukebox, and she says, that he says to her that nobody has really mentioned what happened before he left. And he says to her once again that he may not be cut out for the family business. Kanan, we've been saying this since last season that you weren't cut out for the family business, but you thought you knew better, right? So Juke says that, that shit was wrong and they shouldn't have asked him to do it. Absolutely. But Raquel was desperate and she knew she couldn't do it. She couldn't do it, and she couldn't ask anybody else to do it without explaining to them why she was doing it. So while they're talking, up comes Fame. Fame is still an idiot. He thinks that Virginia is a country, and Jukebox like, that's a beach. He says, when I think of Virginia, I think country. I was like, okay. So while they're talking, they're actually being watched by none other than Detective Howard. I was like, oh. That's why I was thinking, I'm like, so does he remember or does he not remember? So then Raquel is talking to she's talking to Marvin and to Lou. So she's telling them that she wants to go to another project, right? So she wants Marvin to continue to run the one that he's running, but then she also wants Lou to run the new one that she wants. And Marvin's like, well, Lou is not Marvin, but Lou is like, Marvin has been doing so good at it. Why don't you have him run? I was like, Lou, you know better than to talk back to Rock, right? Okay. So she also says to them that she didn't want to say this in front of Scrap, but she wants to bring Warrell in, right? So she wants Warrell them to run the new one because she doesn't want them on the streets, having the cops sniffing around, basically, right? And that's that, really and truly. And then the end of the episode. Well, this is the end of the review, right? Well, no. Yeah, I'm getting to the end of the review. So Scrap, he was playing a card game. He got arrested. And then Marvin went to his anger management class. And, remember, Marvin's lawyer told him all he had to do was just go to the anger management class, sign in, and walk out. Well, the woman, Renee, said, nigga, it don't work that way. You sign in, sit your ass in that seat, or if you want to leave, that's your prerogative, right? But if you do that, I'm going to go to the court and tell them that you violated your terms of your agreement, and they'll put you somewhere where the seat is not as comfortable. So choice is yours. So he goes and sits his ass down. He says, I'm gonna talk to my lawyer. She says, you do that, but have a seat. Have a seat. But that was the first episode of Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, you guys. good for. It was okay. It was a good episode. I enjoyed it, you guys. Let me know what you guys thought about it if you watched it already. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notifications, and share the video, guys. And with that out, and until the next time, you guys, stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. Wash your hands, you guys. Wear a mask. Socially distance. Be blessed. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.